Yeah, if you're ready to go, I'm going to flip the switch here and we're going to get started.
Let's do her.
Man. That's good stuff. That is good stuff.
The sun beats down, hot ground is rough. Farmer's Tan podcast got me feeling tough. Sweating through the days, ain't no broken plan. Talking with the folks from this thirsty land.
Hello, everybody. This is Jake in the 308 on the FTP. It's good to be back. It has been almost a month since we have been here, and we feel bad about that, but we're not going to apologize.
No, that's weakness.
Yeah, it is, and this is just something we do in our spare time for fun.
That's
so
right.
We've had some other obligations, but joined in the studio tonight with Jared.
Hey,
how you doing today?
back on the south side. I'm blessed.
For a fact, I apologize. Apparently, we're kind of rusty. That was a really awkward intro for you. I just said your name and then looked at you until you said something.
Hey, I'm used to it.
All right, no guest tonight. We're gonna go. Yeah. We're gonna go old school. Just the two of us here. And since the last time we got together, we have been through about as much winter as a guy could stand to go through.
Yeah, it was plenty.
Yeah,
it was plenty.
What we were talking about off air. Now I'm really self-aware of breathing. Gonna scoot the mic.
Just hold your breath the whole podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. We were looking at some lows like minus 25 to minus 30.
Yeah,
we were looking at
last Thursday morning. We're recording on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
and today was almost 70.
Yeah, today was almost 70.
Darn near 100-degree swing.
Yeah, a week ago or not quite, well, not even a week ago, and we were looking at, I think we did have minus 31 one morning. We had some highs that were like in the negatives still, highs, and so we've just been kind of busy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess before that even, we were going to try to get together and do something with the lovely wives for Valentine's Day, kind of do a special on here with that. We ended up drizzly, freezing rain, and a bunch of it wasn't good, so we decided not to get together then. It got better for a couple of days, and then we plunged into some super cold. We had a pretty good jag of snow.
Yeah,
and
I mean, we had a cold snap like this. I was trying to remember when that was, and I believe, now I forget, 21, I think it was. It was a February stretch, week long, super cold negatives, high in the negatives. We didn't have the wind, I don't believe, that time like we did this time.
Yeah.
The wind chill was something. I mean, there's 15 mile an hour, which isn't a strong wind for Nebraska, but when it's already negative 15 and you throw that on top of it, that's flat nasty.
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah, we could have had a lot more wind this time around. I'm glad that we didn't. What breeze we had was sufficient.
Yeah, I was going to say first couple of days it was breezy, but then it kind of tapered off.
Yeah.
It was all really cold, but the coldest days didn't blow as bad as the first part.
Yeah, so that was a good thing. We were glad for that. I don't know about you guys. We were actually pretty fortunate this time around. Everything ran fine. Tractors ran. We had both the 215 and the Alice out and about, and they ran fine. Pickups ran fine. Everything at the store ran fine. Now, I will say Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, whatever the super cold days were, we strategically did not run trucks here at the store.
Mm-hmm.
We ran pretty hard ahead of it and pretty hard behind it. And there was 2 days we were not scared of the cold weather, but we weren't looking for trouble.
Yeah, not trying to avoid it.
And there were no emergencies, so we didn't have to run. But
yeah, no, tractors got along pretty good. I would say the Thursday morning, it was near negative 30. One tractor wouldn't start because the batteries just got weak. It just got so cold. They were just a little too weak, even though it was plugged in. So charged it for half an hour to warm the batteries up, got it going. Pickups, there's one 4-wheeler, it wouldn't go. And pickup kind of needed the same thing. It needed to charge just to get the battery cranking. I knew it was weak. I'm kind of hoping to get some more life out of it. And it's fine in warmer temps. So maybe next winter I'll get it swapped. But just kind of, that was the main thing, just weak batteries. But as far as gelling and starting, no, I didn't have any issues. Got along just fine. So
yeah, we did as well. we run pretty heavy on number 1.
Yeah.
And then we treat pretty heavy on top of
I was
that.
going to say, I start treating into November no matter how cold it is. So by the time we get to this cold, it's been running a couple months. Filters good and saturated with treatment. And
Yep. I try to change fuel filters sometime going into winter, whether they need it or not. But I do. However, it times out sometime around Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I usually try to drop fuel filters out and just put new filters in, and that saves a lot of headache too. So we were pretty lucky there. If you follow us on YouTube at all, which you should, you can find us on the Farmer Tan podcast on YouTube, also on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on all major podcast platforms. And you can reach out to the store.
You can stop by.
Yeah, you can stop by the store in person if you want. You can reach out to the show at thefarmertanpodcast@gmail.com. But anyway, if you follow along on YouTube, a while ago I did a spoof cold start video. We got a gas burner, 3/4 ton Chevy, and it was kind of the first cold weather we had. And I mean, cold start videos populate like you would not believe. And there is a hint of coolness to some of them. A lot of them are just long and boring.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I decided to spoof one of those. And so went out and okay, we're going to see if it starts. It's whatever, 0 degrees. Well, yeah, it's a gasser. So hit the key and it lit right off. And, oh, well, there you go. I bring that up because actually in the super cold weather, both that Chevy and the Ford were both parked in the garage. Actually, the Ford, it's a 6.7 Power Stroke. It actually started better than the Chevy. So, they both started. They both started.
Just a little slower.
That Chevy turned just a little hard. I mean, it would grab and fire, but it was not as excited about it as actually the diesel was. So, yeah, I guess I thought that was interesting.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing what cold can do. It's just, I used to think kind of below 10 was cold, but now after these kind of 2 historic cold snaps the past few years, I understand there are levels to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when it gets back to 15 and you're feeling pretty good about life and it's a 40-degree swing, it kind of puts it in perspective.
It does. Yeah, it does. When you take a deep breath and it freezes your nose shut.
Oh, man.
Or burns your lungs or whatever. And you have to take that glove off for a minute to do something. And I mean,
instantly.
Yeah. And your hands ache. They get cold. That's, I don't know. Shout out to everybody, I guess, that lives where it is cold like that more often. We made it through a couple of days and it nearly killed us. So, I don't know if you're up in the Dakotas or Minnesota or up in Canada or whatever. And if you guys deal with this for weeks at a time, good for you.
Yeah.
I couldn't. We get just enough cold weather to keep our snakes a manageable size. And that is enough for me.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of cold weather.
No. Me neither. I'm a summertime guy.
I am
not going that far.
I'm not even going to go that far. I'm a 70s.
Well, of course, all of us would pick 70s.
Yeah.
Really? Pick a side. You can't straddle the fence.
Can I pick 45?
Well, okay. That's a little more. That's a little less popular than Sunny and 75.
Yeah. Sunny and 45.
No,
I'd take that.
I was going to say, no one sang a song about Sunny and 45, so it's allowed.
Maybe if I get a little time, I'll write one up.
Oh, good. That's what I was hoping for.
Oh, my. Why we are talking about YouTube. So it was funny. Jared made a video here this past week going up a hill, tractor and feed wagon, kind of snowpack because you've been going up it a while.
Yeah.
You know how it is, tight kind of an alleyway between 2 groups of pens and fence on really all 4
3 sides. Yeah.
And so kind of had to make a run at it. Anyway, he had got to thinking that, well, maybe he ought to just narrate a video of this. And so he did. And so we put it out there on social media. And I am sure the CEO of TikTok is listening. And I would like to take this opportunity to just tell you that your app, your platform is laughable.
Yes.
Laughable. I mean,
graceful.
Okay. Cause here's what happened. So Jared's in the 7800 feed wagon on, basically just kicks her out to full bunny and bonsais up this hill. Everything goes as planned, makes it. Actually, I think you were somewhat disappointed because
I was very surprised.
You were hoping to spin it out once. And
I was planning on this being a 3-take video.
Making better TV.
The day before, I never hit it first try. It took 3 runs before I could finally make it up and over.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so that is the general.
Yeah, that's the short version.
Yeah, the gist of the video. So we put it out on TikTok. They ban it.
Yep.
Because apparently it's, what did they say? Professionals performing a dangerous activity.
Yes, exactly.
So you can have all these, if you are on TikTok, it is populated with just absolute garbage trash videos that stay up just fine. Those are fine.
I was going to tell you, I forgot to tell you earlier, but I just saw a TikTok of a guy that had a table saw running and was just dropping pieces of scrap wood on top of the blade to just chuck it across the room and hit the wall.
That was fine.
That was fine.
So let that be a lesson to you. If you're going to go yeehawing in the feed wagon tractor, don't put it on TikTok. They don't like that.
Don't do that.
However, at the time of this recording, and I don't remember, we are 200,000 plus views on YouTube of the same video, which for us is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
If you're out there making videos that are getting millions of views, then that's probably a failure for you. But for us,
share our video.
Yeah. If you're doing that, share ours, please. But for us, that's a big deal.
It was.
And so then I did the thing that you should never do, which is reading the comments. And I'm not going to call out any particular comments, but apparently we are morons for not having tire chains on.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be honest. If you're living in a part of the world where you put like tire chains on your tractors regularly, write the show and tell us about it, because in our part of the world that is not a thing.
No, I mean, I think they used to be, but my brother Derek actually did that a couple years ago to kind of get through the mud. It ate his tires to, nothing. It ruined them. So, and the other thing, disclaimer I'm going to throw out there to all the people that comment, my yard is split by a highway. So my feed is on the north side of the highway. The house is on the south side where I plug the tractors in. I don't know how that would go running tire chains on asphalt.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's kind of frowned upon. I doubt that's really good on the highway to do that.
You think the state would give you the...
Maybe. And I would just kind of feel bad if I'm chewing up highway for the sake of traction and most of the time I get along fine. So,
well, and so that was going to be my point, is what we are in a normal year, 3 or 4 days out of the year where they would maybe be handy.
Yep.
And I don't know if these guys that are suggesting we throw steel all the time are doing it on 42-inch tractor tires.
Yeah.
My guess is they're probably chaining up a Ford 8N to push snow in the driveway.
True.
And we're not about that. So I'm sorry to disappoint. We're not throwing tire chains on.
And there was rock under it, but I couldn't push enough snow. It wasn't a thick layer of snow, but it's so cold.
Yeah.
So people were like, oh, it's amazing what gravel can do. I'm like, well, there is rock. I just can't dig through it to get to it.
I don't know. We're somewhere around 110 comments, like 2/3 of them.
No kidding.
Yeah, 2/3 of them are negative.
Yeah.
But we've got like 5,000 likes.
Yeah.
So, the late, great Dale Earnhardt said one time when they were doing driver introductions, and believe it or not, somebody booed Dale Earnhardt.
Ooh.
And I don't know who that would be.
Yeah.
Probably
Shame on them.
Yeah, Rusty Wallace fan, probably. But anyway, Dale leaned over to the driver he was standing next to. He's like, you hear all those boos? And they're like, yeah. He's like, sounds like money to me. Comments are what makes the algorithm go around. So
that's true.
If you want to get on there and tell us what we're doing wrong, go for it. But I enjoyed, there was a handful that said you should back up the hill. Maybe they don't understand how a feed wagon works.
Yeah.
Also,
it's a heavy feed wagon, too.
Well, and on top of that, have you ever backed just a plain tractor up a slick hill?
Yeah, the lugs are going the wrong way.
You get a third as far as you get. Yeah, anyway.
Yep. No, that's the thing. The feed wagon's heavy, and it's actually pretty evenly balanced. There's not a lot of tongue weight on that thing. Yep. So that's not helping me either. So I'm trying to drag a 6-ton feed wagon up a slick. Yeah, and people are like, oh, that's not a hill. I'm like, I know it's not a big hill, but it's still, gravity's working against me. I can't dig through the snow. It's too cold.
Yep.
The rubber's too hard.
Yep.
So, yeah, I could explain it to death, which I don't want to, but
right.
That's to make for good content. But just the amount of people who see a 1-minute video and be like, I know everything now. Let me tell this guy what he did.
Oh, yeah.
And several people are like, oh, it's amazing tractor tires that can work. Oh, wow. It's like they're almost designed to grip. I'm like, do you think that was the very first time, the very first day
Right.
I attacked that hill and was just, no, this was 4 days of fighting this thing, trying all the different things. And I settled, this is about the only way I've been able to make it up. So I'm just, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why throw it in 17th with the diff locks on and just, some people are like, well, just put it low. It'll grip better. I'm like, well, don't you think you think I just assumed 17th gear was the place to start?
Yeah. And like, listen here, buddy, if you're running turf tires, you got to get it in 17th. Okay. So we're spinning and grinning. All right.
It's like, it was not my goal to take a hill at 15 mile an hour. It's like, that's not good on tractors, feed wagons, or nothing.
Or the gate at the other end.
Yeah. You're at the risk of catching a dual hub on some, but no, it was, I don't know. I always figured like, hey, you've arrived when you have people bashing you in the comment section.
Yeah.
So, hey, Jake puts out a lot better videos. There's been more intelligible ones. This is just me inside the tractor cab thoughts that I decided to put out there. And lo and behold, that's the thing that takes off.
Yeah. Yeah. A little teaser. If you're listening to this, go find the pointless video. And that's all we'll say about it. But there's one out there like that. But that we put out here just the other day. But yeah, anyway, so this was not a trip really to get after that. But I needed to unpack for a minute. Jared was he's like,
and I also think you probably like yourself. There's a lot of people out there kind of like, I wonder what it's like if I would make a video that would hit a decent number on YouTube. I've always been curious myself. So maybe there's other people out there. It's like, what makes it go? The answer is we don't know.
Yeah,
nobody really does.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody knows,
as Nate Bargatze would say. So there was one guy, and I'm not going to say who it is, and I'm sure he's listening.
Yeah, right.
He was like, that was a lame video.
Mm-hmm.
And so I clicked on his profile, and he has a video of a tree. And I'm like, really? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Takes all kinds.
It does. Boy, it does. Yes.
So that's our YouTube escapade.
All right.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I wish we knew why some things go and some things don't, but we'll let you know when we know.
There you go. That is a fact. Speaking of being slick and just lack of traction and all that other kind of stuff that sort of comes around this time of year. But we had supper the other night together. Families got together and we got to talking and telling stories there after supper. It actually reminded me once of that Chevy that we're talking about. Aaron and I bought that pickup brand new. It's a 2011. It's the only brand new pickup we've ever had. It's almost got 200,000 miles on it. It will probably be the only brand new pickup we ever actually have. But it was not very old. Like, it was probably within the first year, maybe, that we owned this thing. And I don't remember what time of year it was. It was later in the year than this because it wasn't like frozen slick. It was muddy and slick. But we had some bulls in a pasture with no live water, just a small bull pasture deal. So we had a tank set up and we were just hauling water. And so we had a 1,000-gallon nurse trailer on, think co-op style nurse trailer. Had it full of water. We were pulling it with that pickup. It was Aaron and I. And I don't know why, but the tank was kind of to the bottom of a hill. And if you went one way, it wasn't so bad. And for some reason that I don't understand, I didn't go that way. So I went the little steeper way. It had rained a little bit and it was a little greasy, but I didn't think it was too bad. And about halfway down that hill, this nurse trailer starts pushing the pickup. And I'm like, uh-oh. All right. At the bottom of this hill, and this is steeper than your hill in your video. Yeah. This was a real hill.
Yeah, real hill.
Not an imitation hill. And at the bottom of this, so back in the Great Depression era, they were digging an irrigation canal, and it went across part of our property. They never actually got it done, but it's probably a 6-foot deep canal at one time. That was so long ago. Obviously, they never ran water through it. They never even really got it completed. Erosion over time, it has really mellowed the banks out, but there is still a pretty good drop there. well, that's at the bottom of this hill if you don't get stopped. So it's pushing us down this hill, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm trying to apply the brakes a little at a time. Well, that's really not working, and slamming on the brakes is not going to work. So I'm kind of stabbing them just a little bit. That's not helping. I'm trying to drag them. That's really not helping. At some point, we need to take some evasive action. I didn't even have to worry about that because at some point, the nose of the pickup starts off to the right, but the back end is starting off to the left. And I'm like, we are toast. Because by this point, we're probably doing 20 mile an hour.
Goodness.
Which is not super fast if you're under control.
Yeah.
We were not.
You have that much weight behind you.
So we got a flatbed on this pickup. For lack of better terms, the bumper / drawbar portion of this flatbed's all built out of channel iron. So we're headed down this hill. It starts pushing us in the corner. The wife is starting to become rather concerned about what we're doing. And honestly, I was too. And I'm just having visions of just destroying this almost new pickup. Like, finally get something nice, going to completely destroy it. So I didn't know what else to do. So we were starting to jackknife to the right anyway, cramped the wheels to the right, and just absolutely stood in the throttle. I mean, toe in the carburetor, just standing on this thing. We basically rotated the pickup around and swung the nurse trailer like a pendulum behind us and got it aimed uphill, and basically everything came to a stop. Put it in park, took a survey of just everything being okay. I was okay. She was okay. We get out, survey the pickup. It had actually wrinkled that channel iron just a little bit on the back right corner where the tongue of that water wagon had got into the channel iron. But for the most part, it was fine. Didn't blow any tires off beads, didn't do anything. And we were positioned about right. We could just back up to the tank and unload the water.
Just like you planned.
Just like we planned. It was sort of an Ace Ventura type of move, but it's hard to look cool when you're screaming like a little kid. And man, I thought we were toast. So there's a little bonus story for you about being slick and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, we all got them.
Oh, man.
Close calls.
Yeah. And, okay, so I thought of another one. I remember being a kid, and I was driving the skid loader out of the cow lot for some reason, and Grandpa was, I think, we were hauling manure. So I think Grandpa was driving the tractor and manure spreader. We were done. So I was pulling the skid loader out. He was going to shut the gate for me. Wooden gate, like the 1x6 slats or whatever. And the wind got a hold of the gate and blew it shut, like as I was going through the gate. Well, just a young kid and young kid reaction. And anyway, I hooked the gate with the bucket on the skid loader, and before I could get stopped, like, I yanked a board out of the gate and it grabbed the corner of the bucket. And you know how they start getting wore anyway. Well, it was about time to put a new bit on. Well, it grabbed that and bent the corner of the bucket out.
Oh.
And uh-oh. So Grandpa, he got the gate, and we drove it up to the shop, and he and I were beating the corner of the bucket back and welding it back, and Dad come up, and what happened to the bucket? And Grandpa's like, oh, we got into the gate. And he didn't throw me under the bus at all. He just said, we got in the gate. And so then we had to go fix the gate and all that other stuff. And I don't think Dad was too impressed, but he probably had enough other stuff to worry about. Well, fast forward to when I have kids, this was a couple years ago, and now it escapes me which boy it was, but one of my boys, I needed the loader tractor up at the lot at one set of pins, but also the tractor and feed wagon up there too. I think we're going to put some big round bales in a couple of the pins, but we also had a group we needed to feed with the wagon. So I had him driving the tractor and feed wagon. Well, I had got the gate for him because this particular group of calves had a real bad habit of following you out of the pen.
Yeah.
And so I got the gate for him so that he could come out. I went back to do something else. Well, it was muddy, and the feed wagon slid sideways, and he didn't know it wasn't his fault, but it hooked the gate and just folded the gate in half. And that is the first thing I thought of was when me and Grandpa canned that gate when I was a little kid, and I thought, well, it's come full circle.
Yeah.
But luckily it was a cheap gate, and so we just straightened it back out and
That's
jumped
what I
it.
always tell myself. That gate needed replaced anyway. Every time it's not the same thing. Wind blew a gate halfway through back into the feed wagon, and I mean, took out the post, and I'm like, you know what? Didn't like that post the way it sat anyway.
Right.
Made it so I have an auto gate there now. I can drive the 4-wheeler in and out to check cows.
That's a win-win.
Yeah, it was, not all bad.
Well, and so luckily we had put some humongous REA poles in for gate posts, and the gate was weaker than the post, so it didn't disrupt the post at all. It's one of those gates, it just plugs a hole. It's not a pressure point. So it was a light, cheap gate, and it hooked the fender on the feed wagon. So we just set it down and jumped up and down on it till it was basically straight and hung it back up. and it works fine. So,
oh, man,
I suppose we're the only ones that have ever done that. But
oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know. Find us on one of our platforms and let us know what you've destroyed.
The gate stories. I'm sure everybody has some gate stories.
Go ahead and write the store. Maybe we'll use that on air or something.
You misjudged your turn row and went into the fence a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, or if you have any fields with power line poles.
Oh, yeah.
If you've ever snipped one of them, because not the power line.
Well, you get to be a pro farmer. You got to see how close you can get,
Yeah, and sometimes it's too close.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
To see a kosher plant survive.
Oh, for sure. So, yeah, go ahead and share those moments with us somewhere. Find us and share those moments. We won't read your name, but we might read them on air if it's a good one, and you'll win a pat on the back because we don't have anything else, I guess, to give away.
It's like we can read your name if you want, but if you want to remain anonymous because your dad never knew about that,
that's true.
We can sure do that.
Yeah, for a fact there. So
for a small fee.
Yeah, very small. But
we're not above blackmail.
No, not even a little. It's interesting. You know what never got messed up from cutting it too close was when you were carpet farming.
Oh, man. I was such a carpet farmer. Oh.
Yeah, how many acres do you farm?
All of them. Every single last one.
I always wanted to farm the dining room, but my brother picked that up, and I could never get it rented away from him.
So. Golly. Hell, that happens.
Did you farm with your brothers?
Yeah. We Derek and I shared a room. Scott had his, so Derek and I probably had to split our room in half.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Did you ever?
Got to keep the peace with the neighbors.
You do. Yeah. I was going to ask. So, did you split up rooms like that was somebody's field?
Kind of, but sometimes Scott would come over just because otherwise he'd be isolated. So we all wanted to farm together. Until we got big enough, we just kind of had to split up. But yeah, we kind of had our own businesses too that we helped each other out with. I don't remember what Scott and Derek's was. I was the transport business, the trucking business.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I had a flatbed, which was a grain trailer that the sides got wrinkled in on. So I just pulled the sides off and boom, flatbed. So, yep. I hauled some of their equipment to their fields.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was just a transport guy.
So were you 1/16 scale or were you the 1/64 scale?
I don't even know. Probably 64th. These were small ones.
You weren't the big ones where you stuck your hand in the cab.
And could steer. No. Yeah, 64th.
Yeah. Sure. So we were both actually.
No, really?
Yeah, we were pretty big 1/16 scale farmers for a long time, and then at some point we went to 1/64th because as your scale goes down, you can farm bigger acres.
That's right.
And like in real life, the equipment started getting expensive.
Oh yeah.
You could buy a lot fancier 1/64 scale equipment. So we had to drop down a size so that we could buy the better stuff.
Well, I mean, the possibilities were endless with carpet farming. Like I remember I planted with a 4-row cyclone.
Oh yeah,
IH planter.
Oh yeah,
behind a 4-wheel drive John Deere.
Well,
if I wanted to.
It was probably wet and muddy, and you could carry big tanks on that 4-wheel drive.
There you go. But yeah, I don't know. That was a lot of fun. Kind of, just didn't matter what tractor went with what. I don't know. Endless hours on that.
Oh, I mean, we actually legitimately wore out some equipment. I remember numerous pieces that Dad had to take to the shop and either fix the drawbars on the tractor or fix the hitch on the equipment because, we just farmed till we pulled the hitch out of them.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, great. Did you ever have a grain cart the auger survived more than a year?
Yes, but much like so we had the 500 bushel John Deere carts.
Okay.
And we had a couple of them. This was on the 1/64 scale. I had an 8650 articulated 4-wheel drive that I pulled one cart with. And, we kind of bounced around what we pulled the other one with. We had a 9250 Case IH, like a stagger style.
Yeah.
I think we pulled, but anyway, the one cart, it did. We got it at the point in our career where we were a little more careful.
Yeah.
And so it folded.
Okay.
The other one was the first cart we bought. And much like real life, that auger was fixed out all the time.
All the time.
We'd broke the hinge on it, so we just super glued it.
Yeah, that's smart.
And so that cart
we always just
ran.
lost it. Like it'd snap off and it'd get
locked. No, that cart ran with the auger out all the time.
Okay.
So you couldn't use that one to open fields with, or you'd hit it on a chair leg. And
but I remember it was something like a 7800 tractor, but when I was younger, I just thought duals were cool. Like I just thought tractors looked a lot better with duals on and off. Like I never understood why Dad took the duals off the 4430 ever.
Sure.
I mean, now I understand, but so the problem with the 7800 was it didn't have duals. But I had one of those 4-wheel drives that had 3 tires
had the triples on it.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I don't need all them tires, so they're same size. So I pulled a couple off and hot glued them to the 7800. So then I had a dualed up 7800.
Had a set of duals. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Yep. You know, if you are old like I am, you probably remember, so in the 1/64 scale, there was like probably a 1460 or a 1480 international combine, but they weren't 1/64th. They were like 1/87th or something. But that was like the only combine kind of in that size they offered. And then Deere, it was either a 7720 or an 8820. And so my brother and I, we farmed with those, but they were kind of small, I mean, just scale wise, kind of small. And then probably when I don't know how old I would have been, maybe 3rd or 4th grade, I suppose, John Deere came out with the 9500 that was true 1/64 scale. And my brother got that. And so then that's when we got the carts, because we had a bigger combine.
Got to upgrade.
Yeah, and these
the other equipment.
So we got that first cart and we pulled it with my 4-wheel drive. Somewhere along the line, we got a semi then, because the grain trucks weren't cutting it anymore. And then we were just off to the races, at that point. But I remember my brother had it was probably a 7200 finger pickup 12-row John Deere planter.
Oh, yeah.
Had the liquid tanks out front, and it was a front fold.
Yeah,
and
those are sweet.
Yep. So my brother did most of the plant and row crop stuff. I had it was a Case IH, like an air seeder. It had the tow between cart, so it had the drill on the back, the cart up front. I mean, it was probably like a 40-footer, and so I did most of the air seeding, on that stuff. And it was, the nice thing was if you just needed a little more to it, you just a little louder, and it was amazing what we could pull. So
the other thing I remember about that, and it's still a problem even with the boys' toys today. Any baler do you have where the drawbar stay down, or was it always so back heavy it just popped out?
Yeah, the
most frustrating thing ever.
Yep. I had a little John Deere baler, big round baler, but on the small scale. It was probably a 535, I suppose, was the model. Forever, it would come unhooked and tip over backwards.
So irritating.
It was. We did a lot of square bales because we couldn't keep the big baler hooked up.
Yeah.
So
park in the tree rail.
Yeah, I know it. I had a pair of 5088 Internationals. We pulled the silage chopper with one, hauled trailers with the other. We chopped a lot of silage. That was kind of our thing. We were big in the silage chopping. Had a 2-row John Deere silage chopper, and we chopped and we chopped and we chopped. And then somewhere along the line, I got a 6910 self-propelled.
Oh, nice.
And we pulled wagons with it for a couple years, and then we started chopping into the semis. And
just the evolution.
Oh yeah, we were getting something done then. So
absolutely, man,
that was fun. Somewhere I have continued to be a collector, and it's interesting to me. So I ended up with a TR70 combine. Nope, that's not right. It was like it was a TR, and now I can't remember. But it had the black numbers on it, so it was probably. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But I had a TR combine. I ended up with like a Gleaner combine.
Does it have the blue glass?
It does, actually.
Does it really?
Yes.
That's sweet.
Yes, the glass in the cab is blue. Absolutely. I ended up with a couple 88, like 2188 Case IH combines. I've got a couple of the bigger, I don't know what they are. Probably like, I don't know what they would have been. Probably like an 8240 or something.
Yeah.
And then, but we ended up with when the Cat Lexion claws combine stuff was all, but when they were carrying cat colors,
Yeah.
ended up with a big one of those.
Nice.
And so that was kind of fun. But I have always just, kept collecting. I still pick stuff up once in a while because I like it. We ended up with a big Kinsey grain cart and some big 4-wheel drives. And you were talking about doing some stuff. So I loved customizing stuff. And I am really thinking about getting a 3D printer just so I can continue to make the stuff that I want. I have done some stuff. There's some online CAD programs that you can design your own stuff. And then there's some custom print shops that you just send your file to. And I've built a few things. It's been kind of fun. But I got a 4-wheel drive that had triples on it. And I took the triples off and we put big like LSW Trelleborgs on, just a single.
Yeah.
And then put that was what we hauled so we always played realistically. So we had a harvest crew. So we put the Kinsey grain cart on that tractor because that all fit on the drop deck semi.
Yeah.
And we weren't super over.
You weren't oversized too much.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we had another 4-wheel drive. And so we cut the triples down to just be doubles. And they were better looking tires. So we put them on that other 4-wheel drive and got a Degelman silage blade for it.
Nice.
And so that's what we were packing silage with. But I kind of miss those days, if you got yourself in a jam, you just pick the trailer up and straighten it out.
Yeah. It was just, there was never any problems. Everything went exactly how it planned.
Yep.
You bring up kind of, you gave it more grunt just with your sound and everything.
Yeah.
So I still get reminded of this to this day. My cousin Randy came over for a birthday party or something. We were playing with farm toys, and I had a 1/16 scaled, I think it's a 9600 John Deere, the 4-wheel drive.
Oh, yeah.
So not the combine, the 4-wheel drive tractor. He was playing with it, but he just wasn't.
He wasn't doing it right, was he?
Wasn't making the right sound.
I know it.
And I told him a couple times, like, that's not how it sounds. And he kept going, so I took it.
How'd that go?
Well, it's fine. It made the right sound then, but
but
I still get told, I was like, I could play with your tractor because I didn't make the right sound.
But honestly, Randy, if you're not going to make the right noise, just go on home.
But that's another farm story I can think of that pertains to Randy. He had 2 brothers too, and their cows were marbles. They each had the right color marbles. They each had one color, and they were the cows. They had them in corrals. Well, his house, that
gets difficult if you have a pasture on a hill.
Well, so I'm getting to that.
Oh, sorry.
So it's a 2-story house, and all their bedrooms are second story.
Oh yeah.
But the stairs were like a green, not a shag carpet, but it's kind of a thick nap.
Oh yeah.
Green carpet.
Oh yeah.
That was the summer pasture. So they would turn them out. They'd put them all in their shirt and kind of pull the bottom of their shirt up to make a pocket.
Oh yeah.
Like we all do.
Oh yeah.
All their cows were in there, and they just drop them down the stairs.
Oh, I mean, when they
turn them out to grass.
Yeah, when they turned out.
The issue with that is between kind of the main living area and his mom's bathroom was the bottom of that stair landing.
Oh yeah.
So she would go to the bathroom and the night, and all the cows had been turned out to pasture, and she would be stepping on hundreds of marbles.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's what you do. I mean, cows got to go to grass.
Well, they do. Yeah.
So
yeah.
They don't come off of grass in a day.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
they got to stay turned out for a while.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's good stuff. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So we played 1/16 scale for quite a while till we got a little older, and just crawling on your knees wasn't as much fun. And it was a little easier to play at the kitchen table or whatever. But anyway, on the bigger stuff, my brother had a 1086, and we cut up some Pringles cans to make saddle tanks for it.
Oh, nice.
And I mean, when it was planting time, we'd put the saddle tanks on that 1086, and yeah, the biggest planter you could get at that time was like a drawbar pull 4-row. And so that's what we were pulling, but I mean, we had the equivalent. We were carrying, probably 600 gallons worth of fertilizer on that 2-wheel drive 1086,
all day.
which we had to pull the planter with it because we put it on the feed wagon, but a bunch of YouTube guys got after us for having a 2-wheel drive. So we put
it, climbed that little knob.
Yeah. So whatever John Deere, do you remember John Deere had like a generic dualed up front wheel assist? Like it didn't have a number on it, but it was like probably a 4950, maybe a 4955. So I had one of those. That's what we'd pull the disc with.
Yeah.
And We had one of those John Deere, like the single fold one wing discs, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so we'd pull that, and that worked. That tractor pulled that pretty well. We had an 80-10. I had an 80-10 Alice Chalmers. If you remember on the 1/16 scale, some of them were like the equivalent of probably 18-4 38s, maybe 18-4 42 tires. But some of them were like 18-4, like 20.8 or 20.8 38s or 20.8 42s, or they were the great big wide.
Yeah.
So my Alice had the single wheels, but they were the great big wide ones. And we're
nice.
like, yeah, I'd pull that disc, you know? And so we were just disking up. It was front wheel assist too. So, I mean, we were disking up a storm with it. And Dad come up one day, we're in the we had the upstairs in the house where we lived in. Mom and Dad had turned into a big playroom.
Oh, okay.
And so we were upstairs farming away, and Dad come up and he's like, well, that's a pretty good workout for that tractor. Well, it was an 80-10. I didn't realize it was only like a 120-ish horse tractor. We're pulling the equivalent of like a 28-foot disc with it.
Well,
and he's
hey,
like,
that's the joy of carpet farming.
well, it
don't matter.
Yeah, we were turning the screw before we even knew what that was. But anyway, he thought that was a pretty good workout. So we started pulling the manure spreader with the Alice.
Oh, yeah. We had to be more correct.
Yeah, more correct. Because we played realistic.
That's right.
And then at some point, we started hooking the anhydrous tank on behind the disc, and we were putting on anhydrous while we were...
Sweet.
So in our
That's
part
efficient.
and in our part of the world back in the day, there were some guys that did that.
Really?
Yep. They had a set of anhydrous knives. Yeah.
In the disc.
Yes. And that was kind of a thing. But Dad kind of said, well, that takes a lot of horsepower because you're pulling an extra set of knives. We didn't start doing that. We got one year for Christmas, we got a pair of 8870 four-wheel drives.
Okay.
And so
had to do it.
Yeah. Once we got them, we started putting on anhydrous with the disc. So that was the deal.
Speaking of knives, boy, have you ever tried to do any chisel tillage in thick nap carpet? That's a work.
It's a struggle.
I don't care what tractor you have on there
it.
and how much grunting you do. That is a chore.
You need to have those breakaways. So and a whole bag of shear bolts.
Boy, I tell you, it's tough going.
And really anything with a hay head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thick nap carpet's the equivalent of gumbo ground.
It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough farming on that. You got to get down to the short stuff.
You do.
That's your Holdridge area farming there.
It is. It is. You know, Mom and Dad actually put in that really tight weave low pro.
That was perfect farming.
Almost hard carpet.
Yeah.
For us so that we could farm on it.
Yeah, that's good farming.
And they actually found some that had they kind of the pattern was like straight line pattern stuff.
Oh, nice.
And so, it was kind of...
Ours had diamonds in it. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So where we grew up, we had like creeks and, stuff that.
Yeah, waterways.
Yep, waterways.
Flowing water.
So anywhere there was like a threshold between rooms, that was a creek crossing.
Oh,
because there was a change in the carpet or there was a tread plate or, whatever was right there. And so, that was always a creek crossing.
Yeah, there's I'm sure forgetting half the stuff.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can just understand how detailed this gets. This is not mindless playing.
Oh, no.
There's a purpose to everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
My brother,
did not goof around carpet farming.
No, My brother, he had a 40-55 Deere with a loader on it.
Yeah.
But we mostly used it for feeding and handling big round bales because that was a lot of work to use that to load the manure spreader. But I had a skid loader, so we used that on the manure spreader because it was more maneuverable.
There you go. That makes sense.
Well, if playing is a lot of work, then it's not as much fun,
Got things to do.
Yeah, we do. We can't be piddling around.
Supper's coming. You can't.
No, yeah.
That's the equivalent of the big rainstorm coming. You knew supper was coming, and that call came in. You had to shut down.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to get it all done by supper.
And you let the tractor sit where it was when Mom said
that's
supper
right.
time.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
That was the equivalent of a rainstorm for sure. Speaking of that is going to be a good segue into BSB for this time around. Hey, everybody, we have got an official sponsor.
Yeah, I got a confession quick.
Oh.
Yeah, to you and all our listeners that I feel ashamed of this, but the sponsors I've been listing off before the BS&Bs before were not actually real sponsors.
You mean we haven't been getting paid for those?
No, back pockets. I made that up.
I've been looking for that Yoo-hoo check for
I was going to say
weeks now.
That's why the checks have bounced. So
all right, well,
so I apologize for that.
Well, that's fine. That's if you can do better, you're welcome to write the show. Hey, real sponsor, this time around,
awesome,
and so we are super excited about that. Hey, if you are in the Valparaiso area,
home of the famous Molly Aiden.
Oh, there you go. There you go. If you are in the area out there and you are needing some work done on a piece of machinery or something like that, hey, go look up our friends at Fitsit Ag Works and see if they can't, maybe you've got a 1066 with 15,000 hours on it and you'd really just like to get another 5,000 out of it, so it needs a little tune-up. You give them a call about that. Possibly you have a John Deere and you just wish it'd run. That'd be fine. I'm sure he can help you out with that. But yeah, go see Ben and the good folks there. I was talking to him earlier. Really, he said kind of his area is Highway 81, so the highway that runs there north and south through York. East of there is kind of his territory, but hey, we're going to cut you a break on that. If you can see Highway 81 from one of your fields, even if you're west of it, look him up, tell him the Farmer Tan podcast guy sent you down there, and I think he'll get you fixed up.
Yeah,
but
so if you can't fix it, fits it.
Yeah, if it's broke, fix it.
Fits it. There you go. I'm sure he appreciates that.
I'm sure he does. We're probably the first ones that have thought of that.
I think so. I never heard that.
Ben, you can use that in your advertising if you want to. Also, and I'm just, shame on me, I was going to have this, I thought I had it pulled up already, and I don't, and so now I am quickly trying to pull this up because at one time...
I can jump in, but I like seeing you try to stumble through this.
I am, yeah. I had one at one time pulled up his area of operation, but I know he's out of the Valparaiso area.
Yeah.
And so if you're somewhere really in any of that,
it'd be kind of Raymond area over to Ceresco.
Yeah. And, honestly, I think he's covering like Fairbury, Beatrice, even clear down in there. So
quite a range then.
Yeah. Look him up. We've got spring rapidly approaching us. He's also an ag leader dealer.
Okay.
He is certified, homogenized, pasteurized, and authorized to work on all of that ag leader equipment. And so if you are looking to make an upgrade, or, I don't care if you shut down for a 3-day rainy spell, or if it's the end of the season when you fire up again, just something acts like it doesn't want to work right, there's something amiss, certainly give him a shout. Also, because I know he listens to the show, Ben, do you still got that? I think it was a Caprice Classic with mud digger tires and dual exhaust. I am just really curious if you're still rolling around in that. But I've known Ben for quite a while, and he's a good dude. He'll take good care of you. So he is our new sponsor for BSB. He's going to be riding out kind of the rest of the season with us, and so we appreciate that very much.
Thank you much.
Big thank you to him. And all right, so BSB, we are in that weird stage in weather right now. Today was super nice. It actually started feeling just a little stormy, or like it could brew something up.
Yep.
And I don't know that it is, but it sort of felt that way. So I think BSB, your choices are going to be thunderstorm. This is thunderstorm, like it's been a pretty nice day and you're out doing some field work, and about 5 o'clock, you're like, ugh.
See it coming.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That style of thunderstorm. A pretty intense snowstorm. So not like 4-day blizzard, maybe just a 1-day event, but pretty well getting with it. Or a week of the wind just blowing 35 miles an hour, like it typically does.
Yeah, I got this one pretty easy.
Yeah.
Snowstorm, burn it to the ground, scoop it up in a pile, pour diesel on it, burn it again. No, I hate snowstorms. It's just, I think it's because they last so long and you're just inside and you just watch it build and you just know there's snow to move. It's going to cause you a headache. And I don't know. I don't like snowstorms at all. I will buy the thunderstorm, even though if I got field work going, a lot of times that's kind of your permission to take a break. So it's like, yeah, you get the rain. It's nice to have the rain. Rain helps out so much and then you get it. You're like, all right, now I can sleep in a little bit tomorrow.
Yep.
So just like watching the thunderstorm roll in, I enjoy that. The smell ahead of it, behind it. Yeah. So that means I've got to sell the week long of wind, and it's amazing how wind can wear on you.
Oh, man.
You can be outside not really exerting yourself that much, and you come in exhausted just because the wind's constantly on you. So that would be what I would do.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, I guess for the sake of discussion, I feel very similar. I'm going to buy a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
I don't always like the outcome.
True.
You know, if you pick up some strong wind or bad hail or you know, tornadic activity. I remember as a kid being just terrified of thunderstorms, and somewhere that switch flipped, and I love a good storm.
So I'm gonna ask you something quick. The eastern part of the state from the western part of the state, you probably had a fair amount of morning thunderstorms growing up, right?
You know, we didn't.
Oh, okay.
Well,
because that almost never happens here.
Yeah.
But a lot of times the storms will form here, and they can stay through the night and make it to eastern Nebraska by morning.
Yeah. So if we were going to get like severe weather, it was usually in that 5 to 7 range. Our stuff would come up kind of from the southwest, up through Kansas.
Okay.
That stuff was the stuff that showed up and gave us a good beating.
Okay.
We got a lot of overnight thunderstorms that were probably remnants of stuff from out here.
There we go. So.
Usually those, you know, they'd come from the west, they'd come from out here first. When they got to us, it just rained and lightning.
So probably fizzling out at that point.
Yep. And usually that was just a good rain.
Yeah.
And, you know, we would get those overnight into maybe early morning, but I'm talking like 2 or 3 in the morning type stuff. But so I remember putting up hay, and you get into that 4 o'clock, and there were thunderheads like down in Kansas, and like, oh no,
yeah,
like here it comes, you know. So anyway, but I am gonna buy that. I mean, there's nothing like sleeping with some thunder rolling.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
That is good. And you know, when I was in high school and even into college, like I did some storm spotter classes and did some stuff, and I've always been really fascinated by that kind of weather.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, I'm going to buy that. I'm probably going to sell the wind. I agree with you. Like nothing will put you in a foul mood like a week worth of strong wind.
Right.
And we get stretches of time out here where it will blow day and night 35 miles an hour.
Almost a guarantee in March.
You just cannot win.
Yeah.
It is just windy constantly. I get tired of that.
Yep.
So going to sell that. Definitely burning any sort of intense snowfall to the ground. I kind of enjoy it while it is in operation.
I can't. It just gives me anxiety.
So
it really does.
So like I look outside and I'm like, oh man, it's really getting with it. Like I like seeing that. I hate every bit of the aftermath.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
if it would snow up a storm and melt as soon as it hit the ground,
yeah,
I'm more okay with that.
And it's a good thing I have kids, because the joy it brings them makes me not so much of a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
If I didn't have, I'd be difficult to be around. More difficult to be around.
Heavy rain can cause problems too.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I just winter.
Just to kind of like that, not a severe thunderstorm, but just that on the radar, that yellow to orange, with just a thin strip of red.
Yep.
Just comes rolling in right as you're going to bed.
Oh, that's good sleeping.
Yeah, knowing you can take it easy in the morning, and
you prop the window open and just listen to it
pasture
rain.
grass is going to grow a foot, and oh man, the peace that gives you.
Oh,
yeah,
for real,
love it
for real. Yeah. So there you go. Buy, sell, burn to the ground. Brought to you by Fitsit Ag Works. Go see Ben up there in Valparaiso and have him help you out. You know, I took a pretty big run today to deliver some feed out, kind of the North Platte area. Amazing how many motorcycles were out today.
No kidding.
Yeah, there was I saw multiple groups of people. Like, that's it. We can't take it. It's time to get the bike out. And I thought, man, I need to
I know.
I need to go home and get the battery charger on.
We were talking about that last fall. We never made it out together.
We didn't.
Second year now, so
yeah.
And neither of us really made it out that often.
I rode mine twice last year.
Same here. So it was disappointing.
Oh, it was a dismal year.
We gotta do better this year.
We do. I'm kind of excited to get it out. I would really like some good spring rains to wash the salt off the road before I'm not going home and getting it out yet.
Yep.
If you've had yours out, good for you. Like, I'm not faulting you a bit. No. I'm just not responsible enough to go right home and wash it. And I got enough rusty stuff. I don't need my bike rusting too. So yeah, I guess there's that. But I don't know. That's kind of gonna maybe wind us down for today, huh?
That sounds good to me.
Got any other burning ideas you want to get ran through quick?
I don't think so. I mean, it's finally got to talk carpet farming. We've been waiting all winter for that, but I just want to thank all our guests that came on. We've had a tremendous run of guests. They've all been great, very gracious.
Yep, for sure.
Good conversation. So,
for sure, yeah. If you haven't caught some of those, go back and listen to them. It's certainly been good, been fun for us.
Several on the docket yet. So.
Yeah, we've got a big jag planned throughout the year, just as their time and work schedules allow.
Yep.
So we'll get some more people on here, and that'll be fun. Certainly hit us up and let us know, like, what do you want to hear more of? We certainly want to be delivering the content that you guys are interested in. So if you want more interviews, please let us know. If you want more just us two in the studio, let us know. Topics for shows, we're always up for that. What do you want to hear our takes on? What do you want to hear us talk about? If you want to hear guests, like who do you want to hear, or from what industry, what walk of life, what sector of the ag business. Yeah, we're open for suggestions. Yeah. So you can certainly write the show at thefarmertanpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms. Really, probably the easiest way, the comments that we will for sure see. We do see them on Spotify. You can drop comments on Facebook as well, or you can email us. Those are probably the easiest ways to get a hold of us. But certainly go mash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
And get all the latest updates and like and comment and all that other good stuff, because it fires up all the algorithms and gets us in front of more people, which is more fun for everyone.
There we go.
All right. Well, we are going to pull up to the end here and let you out. This one's been just a shade over an hour, which is actually short for what we've done lately, but I'm getting hungry and I need to go home and get some supper. So thank you for riding along. Until next time, be safe. Bye.
Yeah.
For the crops and the toil we face, Farmer's Tan Podcast